Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Get my t-shirt straightened out. Get my lip glosses going. How are we doing? Oh my, it is 2:33 a.m. and I woke up about 15 minutes ago. And I woke up Alex by accident. And he was like, what time is it? And I said, it's 2:15. I said, I slept too late. I'm going to vlog. He said, okay. And then Boo Radley and Tucker, they kind of like woke up for a second on the end of the bed. They were like this, looking at me. And then I gave them both kisses on the head and I said, you guys go back to sleep. And they went back to sleep. So anyway, we're gonna sit here for just a little while. And then, here's my new lip gloss. I don't really care for this lip gloss so much. And then we're gonna go drive around for just a little bit. What do you guys think about that? How was your day? Did you have a good day? I feel like I notice, do you hear that? I feel like I notice the sounds to everything anymore. Like, I don't know if it's, you know, because I'm by myself. Like, you know, I was with Alex, you know, for 2 months, and now it's like, and he would always have like the TV or something going on in the background. But now that I'm by myself again all day long, or, you know, it's just, I notice how quiet our neighborhood is, and I notice like every little small detail. I sat outside today, I can't even tell you, probably for an hour, and just watched the birds. I actually sat on the front porch, and we have this huge tree in front of our house right here. I don't know if you can see it. We have this huge tree right here, which is so funny because, so we had a really, really big tree. We had like, I don't know if you can see it, but this tree up here is like twice the size of our house is. 3 times maybe, 2.5. It's like a huge beech tree, which is kind of like what I had in my front yard when I was growing up as a kid. And lightning struck the tree in our front yard. So the neighborhood association, because they want to keep mature trees in the neighborhood, they bought us another tree and they put this tree in here. I don't know when that was. That would have been 4 or 5, maybe 4 or 5 years, 4 years ago? 4, 5, I don't know when it was, honestly. But the first year that we had it, it was so little. It was just like this little tree in the yard, you know, that was like no bigger than like 6 feet tall with some branches on it. And because I remember that Christmas, I hung like one little red bulb on, well, it was like one of those big bulbs, you know, but like one bulb on it. And like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, the neighbors thought it was funny. And, but now it's like grown, it's like so huge. And it's not just that it's like grown up, it's grown like out too. Like, I don't think this year we're gonna have to have it pruned, but I think next year it's gonna have to be pruned, or it's gonna go into like our neighbor's yard next door. I think we're gonna have to have it pruned back a little bit. But anyway, I was sitting out here because I have a lot of like bird feeders that I hung on the old tree. 'Cause it must have only been 4 years ago, because that summer that it was like hit by lightning, I had like 3 bird feeders. And I have a hummingbird feeder that's like blown glass. Do you know what I'm talking about? My hair is so bad. I'm getting my mop cut on Friday and I cannot wait. At this point, I just give up. But anyway, I have like this blue, I don't remember where I got it or if somebody gave it to me as a gift. I can't remember. But it's this like hummingbird feeder and it's really pretty. So I have that one, and it just like, it hangs down like a teardrop, and then and then on the bottom of it, it has like this kind of like, it's open, like the lip is open, so you put the stuff inside of it and it just kind of like hangs there on the bottom. And then I have another just regular bird feeder that you put like what are those things called? Like the packages, you know what I'm talking about? You put like a little bit of that in there. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? What's that stuff called? I want to say fillet, but I know that that's wrong. It's not a fillet, but it's like suet or something like that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? My birds and I haven't seen any squirrels on my squirrel table with the corn, but my birds really seem to like the corn. So I bought this stuff, and it's like corn on the cob, but then you take it and you, like, it looks like they took like like a cob of corn, and then they just like took it all off dry, like, you know, like an old one. And then it dried, and they crushed it up into like really little pieces. And so I have it in the garage, and I go and I take like a quarter of a cup every morning, and I scoop it up and I put it out there on the picnic table. And like the next morning it's gone. Like they've come to eat all of it. But it's kind of a mess. I'm waiting for, like, they get over, you can tell, like they kind of like push it around. I'm waiting for Alex to come and say like it's a mess back there, because he's gonna say that one of these days. I just know he is. But I was like, I can move it. I can move it away from where the couch is. Bird feed. It is suet. I was right. Yeah, and it's like, oh, this is funny. This is for cardinals, I guess. Wild bird, no melt, suet dough. And you guys should just put it out there or something. I don't know. But I'm actually going to buy a couple bird feeders, I think. And I also want to buy a bird bath out there. That's for the squirrels too, because the squirrels will drink from the bird bath. But I was sitting out here today, and this tree right here, this beautiful cardinal came out. I mean, we have cardinals all around, but this beautiful cardinal came out here. There's a bluebird I've seen. There must have been some bluebird babies, because they're very small, and they're bright, bright blue. They're just absolutely beautiful. And then this morning, and you don't usually see like around here, like we don't usually see like hummingbirds and like goldfinches and stuff like that until like the summer. And there was this little goldfinch, and he was like this big, and he was flying all around, and his, like, you could tell it was a goldfinch because he was like bright yellow in the back, and he was absolutely gorgeous. And he was just like just flying all around, just flitting and flying all the way around. And I sat out here for the longest time, and I just watched these birds. I told Alex, I said, I don't know what's happened to me this summer. I said, but I'm just like absolutely just loving watching these birds. I'm finding like just such enjoyment out of it. And you know, with my morning meditation, which is, you know, later in the day, not morning meditation, but when I get up and I'm like getting ready and I take the dogs out back and stuff, I just, to be part of all of that nature back there, for some reason this year, it means a little bit more to me. I don't know why. I just feel really part of it back there. And I also, like, when I was sitting out here, I almost thought about taking my camera and just pointing it up at the sky and just letting it, like, film for, like, 5 or 10 minutes. And I wasn't going to, like, speak or anything, but I was going to include it in my vlog, like, at the end. Because just the sounds of my neighborhood, like, it's silent. Like, people don't drive through here. We have walkers, but people aren't very loud when they're like talking to one another. But like at that point, like, you could just hear all the birds, and you could hear the wind, and it was just beautiful. It was just absolutely serene sitting out here today. And so yeah, that was later in the day though, because that was, I think, at the point that Alex was home, and he didn't get home till like 6:15 because he worked today, and then he took his car to go get an oil change. We still haven't changed these carriage lights yet. They're supposed to come and change these for us, and I haven't changed them. But I don't know what it is. I'm just like, this year, I'm just like really enjoying being outside. And I feel like I'm moving at a slower pace each day. And I don't mean slower like not getting anything done. In fact, I actually feel like I'm getting a lot done. Whereas like last month, and I've talked a lot about this, so I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about it, but whereas last month I was like posting videos every other day and felt completely justified. Like, you know, I would wake up the next day and be like, I just want to take a day today. Like, I just want to relax. And I'm glad that I did. You know, I really enjoyed being at home with Alex and stuff. But like now I like wake up and I'm like, okay, I want to get all this stuff done. And in fact, today I posted a video, I posted my vlog, and I was so, oh my God. So I went in last night and I was just watching a bunch of random YouTube videos while the video was rendering. But then like, I just like closed my iPad and went upstairs and went to bed. I didn't upload it to the YouTube channel. Well, that's what takes the long time. It takes like 3 hours to upload the vlog. So what I've learned to do is when I go to bed at night to upload it then, because like I have it rendered already. I'm also, to be honest with you, like I am on day 3 of not having played Words with Friends, and I have a feeling that all of my games may have timed out. I hope not, because I want to play them. Maybe not. No, maybe not. Yeah, because this person timed out, and I don't even remember playing that person. So I'm gonna, oh, I haven't played in 4 days, it says. I'm gonna catch up and play tonight. I've got all these messages from all kinds of people on here. So I'm gonna play that tonight and catch up. And I'm also gonna finish my audiobook tonight, because I still haven't finished it, because I was watching YouTube last night. Just random stuff, just the most stupidest stuff on YouTube. But anyway, so when I woke up today, I thought my vlog was done, like, because I just assumed, because I had done it the night before, you know? So I, like, walked over, like, let the dogs out, and then I went and I got my computer, and I let them run around outside for a little bit in our backyard, and, so I was standing out there watching them, letting them run around, and then when they came in, you know, like, I went over and to go put the vlog together and post it. Because by then it's usually uploaded it, you know, if I go to bed at whatever time, 3 hours later, and I'm asleep, you know, while it's done. I was like, you haven't even started uploading it yet. Well, then I started uploading it, and you guys, I'm so stupid. So it said it was going to take 2 hours and 58 minutes or 57 minutes, which is like, sometimes it takes really long, you know? Sometimes it takes like an hour and a half. So I started it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go get my coffee. I'm gonna call a couple friends. I was gonna go check the post office, because I was having stuff sent to my house, which is all inside. And so I was gonna go there and like pick up the packages, since I had them stop delivering it, since I can go out now. And then I ended up doing that later, because when I went by that, at that point, it was like so busy. I was like, I'm not going in. But anyway, so I was like, I'll just go and I'll, like, you know, for an hour, and then I'll just relax, and I'll, you know, drive around for a little bit, listen to some music if I can't get a hold of anybody. Well, I went and I got my coffee, and then I drove around and I talked to like 2 or 3 of my friends, and it was like an hour and 15 minutes, and I came back and I thought to myself, well, I'll make my drama video and my review video, and I'll film those and get those rendered, and then by the time that those are rendered, they'll be ready to post, right? And then the vlog will be done. And this is where, like, 5 or 6 years ago, like, this is how much I've changed, honestly. Like, 5 or 6 years ago, like, this is something that, like, would have ruined my day. Like, seriously, like, full of anger, possibly rage, and I would have been like, and I just came in and I just started laughing. Like, I just seriously started laughing, like, almost kind of like, okay, this vlog is not wanting to get posted today. So I come inside, are you ready? And, okay, because afterwards, after I was, like, had started uploading my video to YouTube, I got on Audible. And I was looking at these 2 Audible books I want, because my Aunt Susie told me, my mom's friend Susie, she told me to read The Secret Life of Bees. Never seen the movie, never read the book, so I want to download that. And I also want to download this true crime book about, this young girl that goes missing in Tokyo, and it's supposed to be really, really good. So, and it was like in my recommended, so I put those in my wish list a couple days ago, and I thought like I thought it was the 19th today for some reason. So I was like, okay, my credits came through, because I have so many books that I'm not going to buy right now unless I really, like, something comes out that I really want to read. I'm not going to buy extra credits. So, and I get 2, right? So I was going to buy those 2 books with that. And I went over, and I don't get my credits till the 19th instead of the 18th. So what I must have done was I must have closed out of Audible, forgetting that I'm publishing this video, closed out of Audible, closed my computer, and walked out to get my coffee, right? Well, my video is not uploading if my computer's closed, obviously, right? So I go and I run around for like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour or something like that. It was over an hour. It was like an hour and 15 minutes or so. Maybe even an hour and a half. I don't know. Thinking to myself, well, my vlog is uploading, so by the time I get back, I can do my drama video, and then I can do my review video, and then by the time that those are ready to be, like, uploaded, like, it's just gonna be easy peasy. And I walk in the house, and my computer is closed. I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, you're an idiot. Like, you're straight up an idiot. And I just kind of laughed. But anyway, so I actually, though, did get 4 videos filmed. I did a Peterisms video, I did a drama video, I did a review video, and my vlog. And I was gonna I keep on wanting to do the Schitt's Creek tag video that Bunny tagged me in, but I keep on forgetting to do. Well, it gets to, like, tonight Alex came home and he was like, I'll be home by like 6:15. And so when I finished I texted him right before I was doing my Peterisms video, and I said, I'm sitting down, I'm gonna make a video for my last video, it'll be only 10 minutes. And he was like, okay. So by the time I got done with that video, like, I came to the kitchen window, and he was here. So, and he parks in the garage, so I, like, moved my car and stuff. So then I was just like, I want him to be able to enjoy the evening when he comes home, and I don't want him to have to, like, sit there and be like, okay, I'm gonna come home, and, like, he wanted to cook right away, because he was really hungry. He hadn't eaten all day today. So he came home, and he made, like, a big thing of pasta, tons of pasta. Pasta. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna let him enjoy, his time. I'm not gonna sit here and force him to do that. Force him to go upstairs, But then my plan was to not take a nap tonight. But I didn't really remember that until I was taking a nap. My plan, I wanted to take a nap. So I took a nap, but I was laying there at first because Alex is like, this is one of the things I have forgotten, okay? So when he was at home and wasn't working, like, I could lay down at 11 o'clock at night and set an alarm for 12:30 or 1 because he'd still be up. So he didn't care if the alarm was going off. Well, now, he comes to bed at 11:30 or 12. So if I set an alarm for 12:30 or 1, it goes off and wakes him up when he has to get up the next morning. So I don't do that anymore, right? Because he's like, please don't set an alarm. So I don't. So then I fall asleep, and then I wake up when I wake up. Tonight, I was like, I lay down, I was like, please do not let me sleep. Please, God, do not let me sleep until 5:15. Remember those days? It's been a while since we've had one of those where I sleep straight through the night. And then people are so confused. They're like, what does he mean he slept straight through the night? Like, this is when people sleep. My night. I slept through my night. And, yeah. And then tonight I had my reading. So Tanya and I, my sponsor, and then a couple of our other really good friends, we, on Monday night, there's, how many of us are there in there? Total. One was gone tonight, but it's Tanya, my sponsor, our sponsor. Okay. There's 7 of us in there total. So we're reading 12 and 12 literature. And so every week we read a different chapter. And so, like, somebody will read and then they'll pass and they'll say, I passed to Peter. And then I read for like 5 minutes and then we pass to somebody else until we've all read. And then we go back in that same order. And, well, usually that same order, but it doesn't, not specifically. And then we each share what, like, a personal response to that, like what we thought of the reading or stories or whatever. It was so powerful tonight. We do it on a Zoom thing, and it was so powerful tonight, and it was about character defects and about ridding ourselves of character defects, and it just, everybody was so honest. Everybody shared, like, such deep stories on there. And, like, I was talking to Tanya after the meeting, and I said, I feel, because I got off the phone, and Alex said, or I got the Zoom thing, and I said, okay, I'm done, babe. because he goes upstairs, because, you know, it's like kind of like a meeting, so he puts on his headphones and stuff so he can't really hear what's going on. And he was doing some laundry too, so going up and down, doing laundry. And so I said, babe, I'm done if you want to come down here and watch TV. And he said, okay. And he was like, how was your meeting? And I said, I feel so spiritual. Like, I feel, and I don't always feel that way after I leave a meeting, honestly. When I first got sober, I did. Pretty much almost every meeting I went to, I just felt so spiritual and so peaceful when I left. But I can't say that that's the case these days. I don't always. Like, sometimes I'll leave a meeting and there's a saying that's principles before personalities, and what that means is people's like spiritual principles and their, you know, their recovery principles before their personality. So if you don't like somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean that speaks to who they are as a spiritual person, or who that speaks to, you know what I mean, as a recovery person, and that you're supposed to see that part of them instead. But like, it's hard, you know, like when there's somebody that like just rubs you the wrong way, or you don't like for a certain reason. And, or, you know, if somebody says something in a meeting that, I don't know, just rubs me the wrong way or whatever, you know, it's hard. So I don't, not necessarily every meeting that I go to do, and you know, sometimes like I'm not in a real healthy space. Like if I've been angry that day or rushed or whatever, or like sometimes I don't go into a meeting with a strong spiritual foundation to just be open to the experience. It's always, for me, it's not anybody else's fault. It's always me, you know, and how I'm responding to, if I don't get something that I need from a meeting, or if I don't like what happens, it's always me. It's always my response. It's not to blame on anybody else. But to, like, this group that we have, I just love our little group, and I feel like I trust it too, you know. And I told Alex, he said, well, how was it? And I said, I feel so peaceful. I just feel so serene. I was telling Tanya the same thing. I said, I just feel so good after that tonight. You know, it was really refreshing. And it was really like we don't all agree or feel the same way about something. And so to hear different people's points of views, like point of view, I guess, but points of views on different things, I really learn a lot in there too, you know? And it's just always so helpful to me of my spiritual condition. And I don't know, it just was really, it was, you know, I was talking in there about emotional sobriety, and which was a term that I didn't even really hear till a couple years ago, which is crazy to think I was sober as long as I was. I mean, I had heard the term emotional sobriety, but I don't think I really fully understood it. And emotional sobriety is, you know, that recovery really is not about, I know this will be very confusing to a lot of people, but recovery is really not about, or sobriety, about the drink or the drug, right? Like, it's about who am I when I put down the drink or the drug. Like, that's really what sobriety is about. You know, the first step is, you know, about the addiction. The first step of the 12-step program is about my addiction. But the rest of the 12 steps, the other 11 steps, are all about higher power, character defects, inventory, you know, making amends to somebody else, doing daily inventory, conscious contact with a higher power, service. They're all practices of being a better person on a daily basis. They're all practices of who am I once I put the drink down. Step 1 is about the drink or the drug. Steps 2 through 12 are about who am I when I put that drink down. And I didn't get that for a long time. I really, really didn't get that, you know? And character defects are a huge part of that. I also think that, like, for many of us, character defects, even if you're not an alcoholic or an addict, you know, you could have character defects, you know? And character defects are things like jealousy, pride, envy, you know, ego, being impatient, anger, rage. I mean, there's tons of character defects, right? Sloth, envy. Most of them are like the 7 deadly sins that come from those. But like in smaller forms as well, you know? And I was always taught to get rid of a character defect, practice the opposite. So like if you're lacking patience, you know, if you're driving and you're like, come on, like everybody's taking so long. Like if that's how you are, you know, then like for 24 hours, like if you're walking into a gas station, hold the door open for 3 people. and 3 people have to constantly walk through a door before you walk through it. Or if you go in and you're about to stand in line at the grocery store, you have to let 3 people go ahead of you. I mean, I was taught to practice on the character defects, not just that to work on a character defect, you had to put action to it. You couldn't just pray it away, right? We were talking about that tonight, you know? But I have to have a good spiritual foundation, a good spiritual condition. Like, you know, like one of the questions that people will ask a lot in sobriety, like, what is your spiritual condition today? Like, they'll say, like, you know, like, there's no reason why people that are in recovery can't go to bars if we have a reason to be there, right? Like, go see a band, or, you know, that friend's birthday party, or if there's a reason for us to be there, that's what we're told, right? But I've had a lot of friends of mine that will say things like, well, what's your spiritual, like, are you okay to go? Like, what's your spiritual condition? There are days that I have no business being there. My spiritual condition is not very good. You know, I'm angry, I'm pissed, I'm wanting to point the finger at somebody else. I'm not peaceful, I'm not serene. And, you know, the days that I am, like, flooded with character defects, and I'm not taking a look at them, that I'm pointing at everybody else, that I'm wanting to blame the world, I'm wanting to say, you know, if you knew what I had gone through, you'd be angry too. You know, and one of those days, like, I am so far from like, having any kind of spiritual foundation, and I'm so far from being peaceful and serene. And it's all about me. You know, when I think about, like, all these character defects, it's like, okay, if I'm lacking patience, it's because the world isn't going to the speed that I wish they would. You know, when I'm jealous, it's because somebody has something more than me. So what does that say about me? When I'm envious, it's because somebody has something that I wish I had, but do they really deserve it, you know? On and on and on. When my pride comes into it, it's about, you know, it just, and what that's really about is it's back to me, back to me, back to me. What does that say about me? Really has nothing to do with anybody else, and I have to take a look at that. And, you know, I learned in the last 2 years, as I just started on this road of just, like, deep inventory on a daily basis, you know, what I really realized was the majority of what happens in this world really has nothing else to do with anybody else. It really, no offense to any of you out there, but it really doesn't. It's really if I look at it from the perspective of it's all about me. And one of the most valuable lessons I learned was, you know, like, I think we all have this desire to want to tell on somebody. Like, let me tell you what this person's really like. Like, if you really knew this person, you know, like, if you knew them like I knew them, let me tell you what they're like, right? I think we all have a desire to do that to some degree about certain things. I'm talking about pettiness and gossip. I'm not talking about, like, serious issues, you know? But, like, or wanting to point the finger, you know, when something happens, go, well, you know, look at this, let me tell you this, right? And what I really realized over the last couple years was that I can do that. I can point the finger at somebody else. I can say, let me tell you about this person. Let me tell you what you don't know about this person. Let me show you evidence that if you knew them the way that I did, you would think they were a crap person too, okay? So this isn't about who I am. This isn't about what I've done. This is about, let me show you who this person is. Well, first of all, it's complete deflection, right? But second of all, if my ultimate goal in life really is to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be, if my goal really truly is that I want to be waking up on a daily basis, working towards my best being, my highest version of myself, why am I pointing to somebody else? Like, I'm not gaining anything off that. When I'm pointing over to that person, I mean, it's like kind of like the old saying that, like, if I'm pointing at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing back at me. Okay, that's true, right? Along those lines, if I'm telling you about this person over here, I'm not working on myself at all. So all that time and attention that I am spending on letting you know what this person is like, who may not even be in my life 5 or 10 or 20 years from now, may not even be on my radar, that I'm giving all this time and attention to, it's time I'm taking away from working on myself. And I'm way too selfish, okay? You know, in a positive way sometimes on that. I really want to focus the time and the attention that I have on me. And when I stopped giving so much attention to people like, I look back at the last 30 plus years of my life, right? I mean, way past that, like when I was in, you know, growing up as a little kid, elementary school, so 40 years of my life. When I look back at the last 40 years of my life, I have spent an insurmountable amount of time worried about what other people think about me. It's gonna stop, hold on. Okay. I have spent so much time worried about what other people think about me, trying to impress people, trying to figure out, you know, like, you know, like, I just had, like, I was talking tonight about that when you look at my character defects, right, it's always in opposition to, like, a defect of character is something that is, like, a part of yourself that, like, is a deficient, right? But when I look at these character defects that I've, like, mentioned, you know, it's like, I'm always looking at them in comparison to another person. Well, when I look at that, then I have to go back to that kindergarten table when those boys that I thought were my friends, you know, on that day that was, like, my favorite day of the year, tomato soup day in October, you know, and there I am, just this little innocent kid, didn't know anything about the world, you know, excited to have tomato soup, and we're going to go back to their classroom, and I think it was first grade, actually, and we're going to go back and we're going to, you know, have a Halloween story. Had no clue that my life was going to change that day. And all of a sudden, you know, the other boys who were my friends before we came to lunch are holding up the homogenized milk, the homogenized milk, and saying, don't drink the milk or you'll be gay like Peter. And after that lunch, everything was different. And has been different ever since then. And I go back to that day, and I think to myself, that's where the split occurred. And then I started seeing the entire world in comparison to, well, I wish I had this because you have this, or I'm envious because you have this, and you have it easier, or I wish I had these friends, or I'm lonely, and so that affects the, you know, every character defect comes out, you know, and it's all fear-based for me. It's all fear-based for me of that kid, that little kid sitting there, you know? And we all go through our own stuff, but, you know, like, I'm sitting there. It was funny because Alex and I were watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion tonight. And, you know, like, if I had $1 for every time, like, I've shared a story about being bullied, and somebody will say to me, like, seriously, okay, like, in my real life, somebody will look at me and say, you know, like, I don't even know, like, you know, like, yeah, but it's been so long, you know, like, or whatever. Basically a get over it kind of thing, okay? Well, I am over it. Like, that took a lot of work. That took a lot of work on me working on forgiveness and through love and compassion to see the other person as a, but it took a lot of work, right? But just because I have worked through it, because I believe in working through things, not getting over it, doesn't mean that it still doesn't affect me, right? Like, I still could have PTSD from that, or I could still have, you know, some kind of scar. Like, my therapist that we were going to see, he suggested that. Like, he said, you know, have you ever thought that maybe you have some PTSD from being bullied, that you were bullied consistently every single day for 12 years? Like, has nobody ever brought that up to you before? And I was like, no. Like, I'd never really thought of it that way. But whenever I'm going through something, I'm like shell-shocked. I'm like, look, you know, constantly like, what's going to happen next? Like, in this constant state of fear. And we were watching The Real Housewives of a Reunion in Atlanta. Alex was so sweet. He had already watched it. I said to him, I came in, and I go, are you really watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion? He goes, yeah. He goes, you don't ever like watching The Housewives with me anymore. I go, but the reunion, that's so different. I wanted to watch it. He goes, well, babe, I'll rewatch it with you. So he rewatched it with me. But Candy's mom was on there. They were showing a clip about this lunchbox. They were laughing about it, but this lunchbox, her mom said, when I was a little girl, this girl said to me, why don't you have a lunchbox? And she said, because my mom gave me money for lunch instead. And she showed it to her. She had it in her hand. And the little girl, oh God, I just got this in my beard. Hold on a second. I could just feel it. I've been meaning to trim my beard for literally over a week now. I'm just so lazy. It literally takes 5 minutes, but it's like I have to be real precise. And there's this one area right here. Can you see it? It's right here, and it grows at like it looks like it dips, but it really doesn't. Like it goes woo. Like I'm like not getting a straight line. That's not what it is. It's at that point, because my hairstylist showed me this. It like my hairs and my beard go different ways. So I have to like to get it to be smooth, and still I don't. But anyway, so Candy's mom was talking about, I can't remember what Candy's mom is. Why can't I think of her mom's name? But anyway, she was talking about how she, this little girl was like, why don't you have a lunchbox? And she said, because my mom gave me money. She was a little kid, and she held out the money, and the girl took her money. And she said, that was the day that I stopped trusting people. I've never trusted people since. We want to say that this stuff that, like, when we're kids, no matter how little it is, doesn't affect us. That is just not the case, you know? It just is not the case. I can point so much stuff back to that day in the cafeteria. And that is really where I saw a split in my life of how I felt different. I don't even know that I really recognized how much things changed that day. But like, just for example, okay, that was like in first grade, right? Kindergarten. I think it was first grade. That was like in first grade. Flash forward to sixth grade when all the elementary schools are coming together, okay? The kids then that didn't know about me, that would like me for a couple months, and then other people would be like, oh, but you don't, like, you know he's gay, right? They would make fun of me, and then I would lose those new people as friends, okay? The reason for that all went back to that first day, because that was when the boys started talking about it. That was when the boys started calling me names. Then all of a sudden, I was something funny. I was something different. I was something to poke fun at, right? It all went back to that day. So all of the ridicule that I received going through elementary school, which was harsh. That elementary school, which I loved and hated at the same time, but I, used to refer to it as my battlefield too. But like, it all stemmed from that one day. Like, nobody had said anything to me about it before that day. And that milk container is how the whole thing started, you know? I mean, do I think that eventually kids would have made fun of me? Sure, yeah. But it all went to that, right? And then all through elementary school, and then, and it was the same people. Like, I go back to that same day, and I look at that lunchroom table, and there was, like, 2 kids that were at that table that flash forward to my senior year were still 2 of my meanest bullies. 12 years. You're not over the joke yet? Get over it, you know? And it's like, I mean, I don't know what that takes. Like, and this is where, well, first of all, I have to say, at least for me, I do not believe that the people that were bullying me were doing it. Did it just start raining? I don't believe that they were doing it like yeah, it did just start raining really light. I don't believe they were doing it consciously to really hurt me. Like, I don't think they really had any clue how bad it was really affecting me. And the reason I say that is because when I talked to my main bully later, he said as much about himself. And so I just have to believe that that's true about all of them. But then I think to myself, but I mean, what do we call a person that lacks compassion or empathy for another human being, right? Think about that for a second. For 12 years, you ridicule the same person every day, every single day, okay? And then in high school, it gets physical, and you're pushing them, and you're doing stuff to their car and their locker. 12 years, you lack empathy, sympathy, compassion, anything for this person? Think about that for a second, who that person is. So today, I have to think to myself, well, that person must be going through a lot of something too, or they don't realize how bad they're really hurting somebody else. You know, like that was the thing when I talked to my bully. He was like, I had really, well, first he wanted to kind of start it off with, you don't really know what I was going through at that point in my life, of which I kind of was like, are we here to talk about you, or are we here to talk about me? Like, seriously? Like, after all this time, like, I appreciate you wanting to reach, because if you don't know the story, so he reached out to me after I did this note on Facebook that I got tagged in by a bunch of people, like, things that people didn't know about me in high school. And, it was like 10 things people didn't know about me in high school. And the 10th thing for me, I think the 9th thing was, every day that I went to school, I was afraid for my life. And the 10th thing, something like that. And the 10th thing was that I was afraid that I was afraid to walk across the stage at graduation, because I was afraid that everybody would yell, you know, F-A, that word, the whole word. And that, my mom would know what I had, not that my mom would know, but that my mom would know what I had been dealing with for 4 years. And that was my fear. I didn't want my mom to feel the pain that I had to go through. I wanted to protect her from that. Because had she known what I had been going through for 4 years, it would have probably killed her. Like, I mean, my mom really did not understand the cruelty of others. She really didn't. I mean, she just really didn't get it. You just, like, have conversations about stuff, it would just mystify her. Like, people being cruel and mean for no reason, she just did not understand. She really did not understand it. So I think to know, like, later, I was, like, in my 20s, and like, late 20s, early 30s, I can't remember how long it was, but it was later, because it was after I was sober, and I said something to her about being bullied, and my mom, she was like, who was it? Let me know who they are, and I'm gonna write down their names, I'm gonna call their parents. Like, she was serious. Like, I was like, mother, just let it go, you know? But, so yeah, so I wrote that note. We don't do those note things on Facebook anymore. I don't even know so much about Facebook, but I will tell you this. Our Facebook group is taking off like crazy. I'm loving that Facebook group. It's so much fun. We're gonna do, like, watch parties and stuff over there. But I put that up on my Facebook, and he had asked to be my friend like a year or two before, and I was already at that point, like, I had done so much inventory and so much work on it in my life, period. I can't see around this box to see how bad my hair looks pretty bad. But anyway, I was like, I had worked through a lot of it at that point, you know, and I kind of like, and I had done a lot of anti-bullying, like, advocacy, and I had, like, worked, you know, a lot with, like, programmings and stuff like that, and I had shared my story a lot at different things, and Alex and I were real involved with stuff, you know, surrounding, like, bullying and marriage equality and whatever. So I had done a lot of my own work, and I was able to forgive a lot of what happened and see that, you know what, like, they were kids, and I don't want to harbor that anger in my heart. Like, I'm like, that does nothing for me to, like, harbor anger in my heart and hatred. So he reached out to me and sent me a message on Facebook. We were already friends. And I remember when I got the friend request, I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll let him be my friend. I don't know why. And, like, that was at the time that, like, Facebook was getting kind of, like, popular with, like, our age group. And so I was getting a lot of requests from people that I went to high school with, but, like, was never friends with. And I think they were kind of just wanting to see, like, what's his life about. And I actually did have this one guy, though. And, and it's kind of weird, too, because he was, like, always nice to me in high school. And he was kind of nerdy. And he was, like, but, like, he kind of liked a couple of my girlfriends. They would, like, never have, you know, been interested in him, I don't think, but they were friends with him, like, in college. Like, I think a couple of them went to IU with him or something. And he sent me a message. Like, the only thing I've ever, like, you know, posted on my Facebook is stuff like, and I haven't had a Facebook since this relationship, because I didn't get a Facebook until I got out of my last relationship. So, it seems weird that's, like, it feels like I've been on Facebook forever, right? I mean, it's been forever since I've been out of that relationship. It's been 12 and a half years. So, God, that seems like a long time. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, really. It doesn't seem sometimes like it's been that long since my mom passed away, but then it seems like it's forever. I guess it seems like it's forever since I've seen him, too. I don't even know the last time that I saw my ex. Well, I would see him out, like when we would go out, but I mean, I haven't been out for a long time, so I bet it's been 10 years since I've seen him. But anyway, I've talked to him a couple times since then, but anyway, so he reached out to me and he was like, you know, like he had daughters and he was like, he would never want his daughters to go through that. And he was like talking to his wife and he felt horrible. And could we like go and have coffee and talk? And I was really apprehensive at first. I was like really nervous, you know? And I was like, yeah, sure. I remember I talked to my sponsor at the time about it. And he and I went and had coffee and talked. And I remember he started it, like when we were talking, he was like, well, I just wanted to explain to you that like I read your note and, you know, and I said in the note, I said something like, because of somebody that made my life a living hell on a daily basis. I like said like one person, and he knew it was him because he was the ringleader of all of it. And he said, I knew instantly you were talking about me. Which is interesting to me, you know, like I was thinking about that, like, later, and he and I have talked about this, but like if you knew that, like if you knew all along, well, why would you do it? And so like right from the get-go, you know, he was like, I think it's really important that, you know, like what I was going through in high school and like how hard life was for me, because then maybe it'll, and I was like, so wait a second. I said, and I looked at him and I mean, I said something to this degree. I said, you want me to sit at this table across from you and you want me to hear how hard high school was for you when my experience of high school was terrifying at your hands. I said, I think we need to start this off a little bit more, me telling you what I went through. And then if you want to explain why what you went through led to you doing what you did, then maybe we can work to that. But first, I think you need to hear what I have to say. We started on like something like that. He was like, okay. Like he was kind of like shocked. Like this is a different Peter than I remember from high school. Cause see, I didn't say anything. I took every bit of, you know, abuse that they handed to me, if you want to call it that. You know, I took every bit of bullying that they handed it to me. I took it all. I just took it, you know. I was too scared to fight back. And I didn't want to have the conversation with my girlfriends. I was telling somebody this. Was I vlogging about this the other day? And now I think I was telling a girlfriend about this, that maybe I was vlogging about this. It's all the same, right? Talking to my friends on here or talking to my friends on the phone. If I would have addressed it, then I would have had to have had that conversation with my girlfriends. I was talking about it on here. And I didn't want to have that conversation. I didn't want to have a conversation about, I'm really upset that so-and-so is bullying me about being gay, because I was afraid that the next question would be, well, are you? You know, like, is that why I just, you know, I didn't want to have a conversation with my girlfriends. I didn't want to have to go there. I was terrified of coming, and the thing is this, is that whole time, it wasn't because I was afraid of people finding out. It wasn't, but I was, you know, it wasn't afraid that I was, it wasn't that I was scared that what people would think of me if I was gay, but I did think that. That was part of it, you know? But the majority of it was, I wasn't out yet to myself. Like, I had never consciously said to myself in my head, I'm gay. Like, I had never said, I think that's why, like, when I was watching, I was talking about this yesterday. I think it was why when I was watching that movie, like, A Secret Love, that documentary, like that part where she's sitting in the nursing home and she says, you know, how would you handle same-sex couples? And the woman says to her, you know, like, well, or she says, do you have any same-sex couples here? And she says, no, but we have family that are same-sex of some of the people that live here. And she says, well, how would you handle it if you did have a same-sex couple here? And she said, because we are one. And That's hard to say, you guys. Like, that, like, the whole world can assume that I'm gay, but if I'm sitting there and I'm talking to somebody and they really don't know, and I have to look at them and go, well, you know, I'm gay and I have a husband. Like, to have to come out over and over and over again, it's painful, you know? Like, and I think that's why that was hard for me to watch. I was going to finish that today, and I just didn't have any desire to turn it back on. I thought, unless it gets real sweet, I don't think I want to turn it back on. It's just, I'll finish it one of these days, but, like, it's too much for me right now. I also realized I had never finished Molly's Game yet, either. But, it'll probably be taken off of Netflix, and I'll never finish Molly's Game. But, I don't know, like, I was scared of that. You know, I knew, like, my junior, senior year, probably my sophomore year, too. I mean, I always knew. Like, I always had a feeling inside, you know? I had lots of crushes. I never told anybody, though. What's so funny, when I look at, like, my crushes that I had in high school, though, it's like, they were always, like, really like masculine type guys and I'm still kind of like, you know, like my crushes today are always like, well, I mean, Andy Cohen is not like super masculine, but like I like the Daniel Craigs and the Matthew McConaughey's and things like that. Like I always like that kind of like older, kind of like rugged, kind of like, I don't know, like, but when I was in high school, like I look at the people that I was attracted to, and it was always kind of like the most masculine guy in the class, you know? Which I think is weird. But like, so I would say I knew always. I can't remember a time where I didn't have like butterfly crushes on somebody. That was, but like when I was in elementary and junior high, I honest to God, I also I had the same thing for girls, you know? And even when I was in high school, you know, like I've said, I had a girlfriend when I was my senior year in high school. But I look at that back now, you know, and it was a very innocent, I think, attraction. And she's a lesbian today, and she's been out since she was 18. But, you know, I look at that, and it was a very innocent attraction. And I can remember, like, me kissing her on her front porch and things like that. But it was very innocent. It was never anything more than that. And we dated for a long time. And I really was enamored of her. I really liked her, you know. And I look back on that, and I think to myself, well, how did you justify that in your head? It was like, I don't know. I think also, like, starting in about 10th grade was where I maybe had the conversation in my head, like, this is who you are, but then this is what the world looks like. And I knew that there was no real world that I could live in. Well, I did not know, like, you know, my mom and my aunt had gay friends, but they were super flamboyant, and they were all, like, hairstylists or interior decorators. And they would come over and, you know, khaki pants, very well dressed, khaki pants and white button-down collared shoes and penny loafers and stuff. And they were absolutely hilarious and just smoke one cigarette after another and drink martinis. But there was nothing desirable about that to me. Like, as far as, like, living a real world, like, you know, that's not what I wanted. And, Caroline and I were talking about this because our moms had these two guy friends that they were really good friends with. And, we were like, were they a couple at one time? Like, they were always, like, around for all the parties and stuff. And I can remember that, you know? And, I can remember, like, being, like, talking to my mom about this one guy, and, like, when I was in high school, and being like, Mom, he's gay. And she was like, no, he's not. Like, I don't even think, like, I don't know. Like, I look back on that. It wasn't like they were, like, I don't know. Like, Caroline said to me one day, she's like, did they even ever, like, act like they knew that they were, I mean, they always kind of acted like they had crushes on them. I think maybe my mom and my aunt were clueless about it or something, you know? But anyway, probably. But I just didn't ever think it was possible. Like, what I have living in a house with my husband and having, you know, dogs and going grocery shopping and out to dinner and having other friends, gay and heterosexual, that we are friends with, and, you know, and everything underneath the rainbow, and, you know, having family that we're involved with and traveling and feeling safe to do those things. If you had shown me the picture that I live today, I would never in a million years have thought this was possible. I would never in a million years would have thought I can have this someday. And that's why I do think, you know, for, you know, all of the younger generation that's coming out, I guess, and for the older generation too, there's a lot of people that are in their 40s and 50s and 30s that haven't come out yet because they just don't feel safe or comfortable. I do think it's important for them to see the couples that are out and living, you know, whatever we term a normal life, you know. There's a couple different couples I follow on Instagram, and it's like, what's the one couple that's in Nashville? PJ and Thomas, I think. They're like, they flip houses and stuff. And they fostered like these 3 siblings. It's real sweet. They're like in their 30s, these guys. I think their names are PJ and Thomas. But they like, their life is very attractive to me, but they just live like such a normal life. And I don't know why, this is gonna sound crazy, but like that normal life, maybe it's how that I never thought I could have it for myself. And maybe that's why the bird feeders and all that stuff are attractive to me. But like, that normal life, of that normalcy, is so attractive because it's something that I never thought that I could have for myself, right? And so since I never thought that I could have that in high school, I pushed that away. So I never had any real conversations with myself in high school about like, you're gay and you're gonna come out, and this is, I never had that conversation. I honest to God, I was terrified. I was scared. If you had said to me, like, if you were close to me and you said that I was gay, I would have said, you're crazy. I'm not. No. Well, you know, people say that you are and you act that way. I don't really care. They don't know what's going on in my head. You don't know me. And I had somewhat convinced myself of that, I think. Like, I was too scared of it because I didn't know what that looked like in the world. And then the second semester of my senior year, one of my best friends, my best friend that I had from kindergarten, elementary, all the way through, she started working at the mall, and the Castleton Mall. And she made friends with a lot of gay guys. And one in particular that she and my other friend were really, really close with. And if we were 17, 8, she was probably 18 at the time, because I was the youngest always. So if she was 18 at the time, he was probably... Oh, he was 21, because that summer we all got fakes and started going out, duh. Anyway, and I got his information, and that's how I got it. But he was like the first gay guy that I ever met, and that I met, and that was like my contemporary, my age group, that was going out and living a life and whatever. And I mean, I didn't remember him ever saying like, yeah, I was scared to come out, or, you know, I mean, he just was gay. I just, you know, and we were going to Denny's and Steak and Shake and you know, hanging out, and he was nice, and, you know, I feel very, very blessed that I had a lot of guys that were, I mean, they didn't take on like a mentorship kind of role, but they just were good role models for me, you know, like, I mean, other than he gave me his information to get a fake ID, but like, he wasn't like trying to hook up with me or anything, you know what I mean? Like, he just was a nice guy. And, I used to get this all the time when I was younger. I never get this today. People come up to me all the time. No, I'm joking. But like, when I was younger, people would always say that they were really, really intimidated by me. Like, if they saw me, like, guys would later, like 5 years later, you know, I'd have guys come up and say, I always wanted to ask you out, but I was so intimidated by you. And I'm like, what were you intimidated by? Oh my God, you just, you know, I don't know, I just was so intimidated by you. I was told that all the time in my youth. I don't know what that's about, but you know, like, he was important because he showed me that I didn't have to be afraid of that anymore. And then we went to, we started going out to, like, gay bars. And I remember we went to Tomorrow's, was this drag bar on Meridian. It doesn't exist anymore. It was right next to the Wendy's on Meridian, on South Meridian. And, we were at his house, or we were with him and some other people, and they said, come on, you guys, to me and my friend, that we were going to carry the dragon. Like, that's how we used to get into bars, is we would carry the dragon. like the duffel bags and the suitcases and all that kind of stuff. And then we would just sit, and because nobody was checking us at 8 o'clock, you know, and then we would just carry the stuff in and sit in the dressing room. And then 10, 11 o'clock, the drag show would start, and we would have been like upstairs in the dressing room, you know. And I can remember we were up there, and like, you know, they had gotten a couple drinks, and I was buzzed. And I remember, like, I walked in, and it was this dingy, dirty bar, and we walked in the back door, you know, like, parked in the back, and it stopped. But, you know, like, we went in this dingy, dirty bar, and it was, like, gross, you know, and carried the drag in, me and my good Judy, my friend, this girl that was 18, you know, at the time, just turned 18, probably, and, we used to do carry out from this one gay bar too, this OP's here in Indianapolis. We used to make her go in with her fake, well, our other friend, she had a fake ID. We used to make her go in and get carry out, because you could get carry out from bars, you know. I think you still can. But anyway, so we'd make her go in and get like a 6-pack of beer and other kind of, you could get all kinds of stuff. But, I remember, I'll never forget this. I think this is the first time I was ever in a gay bar. Yeah. And I remember we were sitting up there in that dressing room. I'm almost positive this is the first time. I might be wrong, but I'm almost positive. I think I've even talked about this on here before. We were sitting up there, and I had had like a couple drinks, and I was like kind of, you know, buzzed a little bit. And I remember like I could hear like the MC downstairs. Like the MC was like up with us. It was like this big, you know, dressing room with like, when you see these movies where you see like these drag bars and they have like these elaborate, you know, dressing rooms and stuff where it's like each person has their station. Okay, I don't know. Maybe on a really nice night, a nice club, but that's not typically how it is. I mean, they're usually like not the nicest places, and people are always smoking weed, and it's just a lot, you know, and there's drinks rolling and whatever. At least that was my experience 30 years ago. I don't know. So anyway, today, how it is. I just remember a lot when I came out, drugs and alcohol being a huge part of the gay scene. Just a huge part. I think like people working out and getting healthier has changed that probably in the last 30 years, but it was a huge part of the gay scene when I came out. But anyway, I can remember sitting up in this dressing room with my girlfriend, and we were, like, I was buzzed, and I remember this one, like, drag queen went down because she was going to do she was going to MC the show, and I just saw, actually, somebody posted a picture about her the other day, and then I remember our friend said, if you want to go down and watch the show, like, she gave us some drink tickets, and she was like, here's some drink tickets you can drink, get a couple drinks. And she was like, and I remember nobody asked me for ID. Went up there, they looked at me kind of like, the guy said something to me, maybe not even that time, maybe like my 5th time or something, and said like, how old are you? Or something like that. I mean, I looked young, you guys, when I was 18. And, but I remember they had like they had tables on the left side, and then on the right side, they had these kind of like wooden bleacher kind of things, like 2 things that we sat up there. And I remember the very, very first night I saw this guy that he was dating somebody else. I never like dated him or anything, but I had a crush on him the entire time that I went out. We're actually still friends on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And like all his pictures. He's with somebody else. He's been with somebody as long as I've been with Alex. He's real cute still to this day. He doesn't live here. He lives in Nashville, but all these people live in Nashville. Maybe we should move to Nashville. But anyway, I can remember, like, I sitting on this bleachers, and then I remember this drag queen, she came out, and she was actually younger than me. And, I remember she did this Melissa Etheridge song, and her name was Samantha Sinclair, and I was worn out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what am I seeing? And people were, like, tipping her and rooting her on, and then I remember there was, like, a couple other people that had been up in the dressing room, but it was different, you know, and all of a sudden it felt like this celebrity that I had like just been sitting in this dressing room with, and I was part of that, you know. I do remember like when I walked downstairs though, like that dirty dingy bar like turned into this magical fairy town overnight, you know, like with the change of a couple hours. Like it was this dirty grungy bar when I walked in, and when I walked down there, it was like I wanted to be there. Like I could feel the heat on my face, you know, the drinks were hitting me. I finally felt like I had arrived. And I felt like I fit in, and I felt like I didn't have to explain that to anybody. And I came out. Like, I came out. I mean, one day I was in, and the next day I was out. And that was probably right before my 18th birthday. I came out on my 18th birthday. I went to my dad's house, and then I think I went to my dad's house first, and then I went to my mom's house. And I told my dad and my stepmom, I sat them down. And my stepmom actually asked me, and then I told my mom. And that was where my mom said to me that she was afraid for me. Well, I said to my mom, she said, "Are you gay?" And I said, "I'm bisexual." Or I told her I was bisexual, and she said, "Come on." And because back then we did this whole thing where it was like, we used to make a joke about it. It's not funny today, but we would say "bi now, gay later," because we weren't comfortable coming out as gay. And to some degree, being bisexual, I don't know, made the transition easier, like that people would be more accepting of that or something. I don't know, you know. I didn't say that for long though, but I remember she said that she was afraid for me, and I thought that she meant that she was afraid I would, like, you know, get AIDS, because that was like such a huge deal at that time. And I said, "Mom, like, you know, I'm gonna be safe." And she said, "I'm not talking about that." She said, "I'm saying that, you know, like, society is not nice to gay people." And society has not always been nice to me, but there has been people that have given me moments of grace, I would say. You know, I think, like, I like to hope a lot for our society, and then I think we've come so far, you know, and I'll hear stories about parents that are embracing their children's coming out, no matter what age, or, you know, making safe environments for them. Or you see movies, you know, that are like, God, I wish those movies existed when I was in high school, like Love, Simon. That would have given me so much hope, you know, or whatever. But those movies didn't exist, and that's okay. My experience is different. But I hear all of these great things, or you hear about parents, you know, walking in pride festivals and being part of PFLAG, which probably would have driven me crazy if my mom had been part of that when I was growing up. But, you know, like, all of this stuff, you hear about all of it, and that's amazing. It's like so awesome, you know. And then you hear these cases, you know, of like trans women being, like, beat to a pulp and nobody caring, and somebody coming out and their entire family disowning them literally within 30 minutes and saying, "Get out," you know. Or people being bullied to the point of feeling like they have no options in high school. And you think, well, really, how far have we come if we can't save everyone? And we never will be able to save everyone. But isn't that sad? But we've come a long way, and I think we have to remember that, you know? I mean, I think about the fact that, like, I have 5 channels, okay? 5 YouTube channels. And I think about the fact that, like, I get a comment every once in a while. I'll get, like, "You old queen, why aren't you," know, something stupid like that, whatever. But, I mean, I've had mud slung at me so long that, like, it takes a lot, you know, to, like, hurt my feelings these days about stuff like that, especially about my voice. Now, I wasn't used to getting an overwhelming response about my voice when I first got on YouTube, so it did hurt at first. I like my voice today. YouTube has helped me fall in love with my voice. But, you know, it was hard at first, and I can remember when people... I think, like, some of the comments that hurt the most were when people were like, "Your voice doesn't match what I thought I would see when I came to your video." And then I would... Because I would think to myself, well, what do you think I'm supposed to sound like? You know what I mean? And I can't help that. So, you know, like, that was... And then that took me back to first grade again. What did I do wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? You know, let me fix it. You know, so if I fix it, you'll like me. F that. I'm done with trying to, like, be something that other people, you know... Like, I gave that up a long time ago because I realized... I can't change myself enough for people to like me, and the people that I'm trying to get to like me, they don't matter anyway. You know what I mean? So F it. I just give it up. And the people that like me are going to be the people that like me, and the people that like you are going to be the people that like you. Cheers. And I wanted to look up this account, PJ and, what are their names? PJ and Thomas. The first picture that they have up here is of their, oh, it's an IG story. Update on life lately. Hey, y'all. It looks like they have the kid. Maybe they're adopting these kids now. For a long time, what? I didn't see this. No, so like, they foster these kids. They put them in their pictures a lot, and they put like, this one has like, they have like white hearts over their faces, but it's like these siblings that they fostered. So now they're like fostering all kinds of kids. It's real sweet. And but their Instagram is gorgeous, and they have like down here like YouTube. Oh, they have a YouTube channel. I didn't know that. Home renovations, travel. Their house is gorgeous. They're in Nashville, aren't they? I think I'm almost positive they're in Nashville. TikTok, blog, DIY, Facebook, Twitter. They have 345,000. The Property Lovers, PJ McKay and Thomas McKay, real estate agents. They like flip houses and stuff. I didn't know that they had a YouTube channel. Let me look at this YouTube channel. Update on life. Oh, they have 101,000 subscribers. I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever looked at their YouTube channel. You get pretty good views. Huh. Oh, I didn't know that they had a YouTube. I will tell you, I watched Matt and Blue, who is another gay couple. There's just, the fact that there's so many gay couples, like, on social media, like, Yummer Time, it's like the fashion bloggers, they're, like, real sweet together. And there's, like, this other couple that's from New York. They're closer to my age that I follow. Oh, look, there's Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek. Here's to all the people who woke up with thinking it was Monday. Trying to see if this pulls up, but I don't remember what their names are. But, you know, I just never thought that that was possible. I never thought that that would be possible for me. So it's crazy to think that I live in a world where now I can be that and have that. And it seems so normal. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, you know? When I look back at my life and I think about how much of my life that I've dedicated to, like, I mean, it really, like, this is the thing, is that, like, it makes me who I am. But when I think about how much of my life I've looked at being bullied or coming out and, like, sharing that story or helping others or getting through it myself and dealing with it. And then the other half of my life, I feel like, has been dedicated to, like, addiction and recovery and sobriety. And I think, like, what would my life be like, you know, like, if I had just, like, never used in high school, didn't have any addiction issues, could just drink a glass of wine like everybody else, you know, like, even maybe smoke a little weed every once in a blue moon, which I can't because I would take everything to the extreme because I'm an addict, an alcoholic. But what if that were the case and I had gotten, you know, like, let's just say a 3.3 in high school or 3.5, went on to college, you know, went to art school for fashion or went to college, you know, and then graduated and like hadn't been bullied, you know, like had been a good high school experience, got along with people to some degree, you know, like maybe not everybody, but, you know, didn't feel threatened for my life. Like, how would my life be different today? You know, like, and I have to believe to some degree that I've gone through those things because they've put meaning to my life. But, like, I don't want to spend, like, you know, I go to meetings and I do all that stuff, like, tonight, because that is the medicine that I need to continue to take to be, like, a healthier person for recovery, right? And it helps me grow to be a better person on a daily basis. But, like, in all honesty, unless I'm helping somebody else, like, by sharing these stories, like, I don't, and it, you know, it's interesting to me to kind of, like, look back on it and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be 70 talking about how I was bullied. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, already. Like, at some point, it's like, I talk about it today because I talk about it in relation to it still affects who I am today, right? But, like, I don't want to stay stuck in that either. I just don't want to stay stuck in that, you know, back then. But I do think it affects who I am today. And I think I think it does affect the way that I respond to the world. You know what I mean? And it probably always will. And I think that's where my lack of confidence comes in sometimes, and I have to work hard at feeling, you know, strong and, you know, confident. Okay, I'm going to change the battery, and then we're going to drive around for 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to upload the vlog, and I'm going to catch up with my Words with Friends game. So hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. I just realized I've been sitting here the whole time with the light on. I don't know why. I planted all these flowers, like they have all these flowers coming up in their yard over there. And I had planted all these flowers on our walkway. But like we went in last year and we dug up all the flowers because they came in like so tall and there was just it just was a lot of different stuff. So we went in last year or maybe it was the year before, I can't remember. I think I hired somebody. Well, Jesse and Fufu did it that would have been 3 or 4 years ago. But anyway, one year we hired somebody to come in and they asked me what I wanted. And I said I just want it all pulled up. And then we redid, the year later we had to do it again because there was still some stuff underneath there. But now we just have 4 hostas on either side. And then like 1 set of hostas and then just dirt. Which has some mulch in it left from last year. But like I told Alex, I said, we need to get some mulch. And he was like, do you really think so? He was like, I kind of like it like this. And so then it poured rain and there was like literally like a pond to the point, there was like a puddle to the point that we almost had like a koi pond. And I was like, yeah, I think that we need to get mulch out there. So I'm gonna get some of that in the next week or 2. But I don't know. I want to. We have this nursery up here. I wonder how much. I'm gonna drive in here right now and see how much mulch they have left. I don't know why I'm turning on my turn signal since I'm not turning here. And I took out last year. We had those solar lamps, you know. But because our house is so highly lit up anyway, they didn't really work. Like only the last 2 that were closest to the street would come on because everything closer to the house was already so bright, so that like those lights didn't come on. So I just threw them all away. They were several years old anyway, you know, the kind that stick in the ground. So I threw them all away. And then Alex did the walkway this year and it looks so clean. It looks so much nicer than it looked before. These people have this whole fire pit section right here. And I noticed that like they had it all sat out there. Like I went to go get my coffee like a day or 2 ago. and like the person was sitting out, like was standing out there, and like they were situated in this, they had like 20 seats out there. I'm like, who are they having 20 people for like a fire pit, like this huge fire pit area? And then I drove by there today because we've had such bad rains last couple days, and we're like in a floodplain area, and like the whole fire pit area where all the chairs were and stuff was like underneath water. It was like that's kind of sad. This place would also be a place I need maybe to come to get bird feeder and stuff. They're usually pretty empty during the day, I think. Even like way before all this happened, they were never really that busy during the day. It's called Sullivan's. It's really a nice nursery, but they're like gorgeous plants and stuff, but it's extremely expensive. It's really, really expensive. Like their patio furniture is like ridiculous. Like Alex and I went in there and it was like $6,000 for like an L-shaped couch, and I'm like, as if $400 on Wayfair, thank you. Like, oh, okay, they have these plastic Adirondack chairs out here. I've always wanted one of those, so I'm gonna go and see how much they are. By the way, I want to get like a chair with an ottoman for my front porch. I told Alex that, and he's gonna be like, oh, I don't know what I think about all that. Okay, where's the mulch? Are they out of like mulch already? No, but they're getting out of it. They don't have much left. So our neighbor's got the black mulch, the black diamond mulch, I think is what it's called. So where is it? Does it say how much? It doesn't say how much it is out here. Do you hear the birds? Oh wait, yeah, there it does. I can't see though. They've got a lot of it left. I can't believe that there's no curbside pickup and delivery. Oh, they have mulch up here. Potting soil. Huh. I wonder if they're not open yet. Look at these plastic Adirondack chairs. You guys, $299. That is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I won't be paying $299 for a plastic Adirondack chair. Never, 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 ever. But they do have gorgeous patio furniture. Well, the liquor store says open inside 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. So you hear all the little birdies waking up in the yard. Do you hear them out there? Little birdies, little birdies. I can't believe I'm getting my hair cut this week. It seems crazy. On the road again. I need to sit outside and start reading my Dear Dawn book, because we have the book club in 2 weeks and I haven't started reading it yet. I can't believe that we're only 2 weeks away from June. Like, that seems crazy to me. Right around the corner. See, this is what happens is I fall asleep and then I get up in the middle of the night to vlog, and then I'm like wide awake. I had this really weird dream. Of course, all of my dreams are weird now, but I had this really weird dream. I was at dinner, and it was like this really, really elegant dinner. And I was with this guy and this girl. Like, this man was like older. He was like probably 60, and this woman was like 25. And we were like there. Like, somebody was supposed to bring us money. Like, we were there, like, it was like a drop, you know, like, you know, like a thriller movie. Like, somebody was gonna bring us money, like, in exchange for, like, a ransom or something. I don't know. It was real weird. And we were, like, scared to be there. And then they thought like the wait staff and the owner thought we were somebody we weren't, and we didn't want any attention brought to us. And so they started bringing out all these desserts and stuff. And the guy that I was with was like, all of a sudden he like started acting like he was this guy, like this mafioso guy. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then the woman was going along with it too. And I was like, what is going on here? I was so confused. And then I just kept on asking where the restroom was. It's the weirdest dream. But I remember like I was eating this food in the dream and the food was so good in the dream. I was like dipping something in this butter sauce. It was like this bread in this butter sauce. Do you ever wake up and remember like just like the weirdest parts of your dreams? Listen to the birds. What do you think that bird is saying? Mama, worms, worms, worms. I just said to myself, okay, I'm gonna go straight instead of turning left here. And as soon as I said that, the light changed. Because the turn light never came on. It smells so good outside. This warmer weather just really, really makes a difference to me. Like, I just am a completely different person. I'm so much happier and so much more peaceful and content. I just am so happy, you know, when the weather's like this. It's so nice. On the road again. I'm kind of over the traveling thing for now. Right now, I really want to just make my patio and my house nice. This is what I'm really into. I wish I was good with that DIY stuff. You know, like, my sponsor, she's so good with it. Like, she redid her countertops and she put backsplash in her kitchen. And she even, like, took down all of her cabinets and painted them in her kitchen. Always sanding them and painting them and all this kind of stuff. I wish I could do all that. I'm not any good at that kind of stuff. We have so many friends of ours that are like so good with like the flipping houses. I wish like we knew how to do that stuff, but I'm not gonna do it and then like make the house worse, you know, and then we're living in like the money pit. I'm not gonna do that. But I do wish I knew how to do some of that stuff, because A, we could save a lot of money, and B, it's like we could make our place look nicer, you know. And first of all, I gotta get rid of like half the stuff that's in the house because we just have way too much crap. So peaceful tonight. I like came out of that meeting, well, not meeting, but like our reading tonight. I literally like, you know, like we do it on our phones, or I do it on my phone, but I have it like propped up against my computer, and so I have my computer like on and pulled up so that the light from the computer, like, you know, is kind of like a ring light a little bit, so you can see me more because it's dark in our living room. And so, like, I, like, you know, left the meeting. You, like, you know, push a button where it says, like, leave the meeting. So I left the meeting, and I closed the computer, and I just, like, sat back, and I just was like, I am so, like, peaceful right now. Like, I feel so good. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, I mean, it just felt, not really weird, I guess is the word, but, like, I just felt so incredibly calm and just at peace. Just so peaceful, you know? I think actually that's probably a good note to sign off and just kind of leave it at that, and hope that you guys are peaceful and serene too. I think I'm gonna get off here now and listen to my audiobook so I can hopefully finish it tonight. I think I have like an hour left. Hopefully finish it tonight and then listen to, or catch up on my games, my Words with Friends before they all time out. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a blue heart in the comment section below. And please give this video a big thumbs up. Give this video a big thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. It really, really does make a difference, and I appreciate it when you do. And if you feel comfortable commenting, please at least just say, hey, how are you guys? And leave a comment. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and all of my channels. I would really appreciate it. And because a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed to your channel anymore. What happened? I actually was looking at somebody the other day that I watch, and I like started searching them up, and it came up, and I was like, I'm unsubscribed to their channel. Like, YouTube had unsubscribed me to them, and this was somebody that I knew I wasn't unsubscribed. I wouldn't be unsubscribed to. I was like, this is crazy. So I know that happens. So anyway, well, it happened to Tanya. Tanya got unsubscribed to my channels. Not all of them, but 2 of them. She got unsubscribed. She was like, I was unsubscribed to your channel. I was like, seriously? So anyway, if you could just check, I'd appreciate it. And I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something relaxing and peaceful. Do something that will make you feel serene and calm. And yeah, do something fun. Start a new TV show, or continue your old one, or read a book, or whatever. Watch a movie. And do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow, or the next day, or next week, or next month, or next year, or 10 years, or 60 years, or 69 years, or 89 years if you're still around. I hope you are. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And look at yourself in the mirror every single day and say to yourself, I love you. And do at least one positive affirmation and say, you are valuable, you matter. Come up with as many as you want. You are loved. And, you know, whatever they are, you're a good person. And before you go to bed at night, look in the mirror and say, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be a great day full of opportunities and positive experiences and exciting new things that are positive coming my way. And if anything gets me off track, I can start my day over whenever I want. I'm going to be peaceful and calm and serene all day tomorrow. And I'm going to respond to things in a peaceful and serene and calm manner. And when you get up tomorrow, say to yourself, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. My day is going to be full of laughter and smiling. I'm going to be kind to others. I'm going to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm going to have great opportunities come up today. I'm going to have exciting experiences and opportunities come up. Exciting, positive things that are happening. And if anything happens today and I get off track, I can start my day over whenever I want. Make sure that you, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and you let them know how much they mean to you today. Just say, hey, I was thinking of you. How are you today? It's as simple as that. And practice random acts of kindness, but like I always say, or also practice random acts of kindness, but like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it to be a better person. Just do it to put good and positivity out there in the world. It'll make you feel better. It makes us all feel better, right? And I think it's also helps us get rid of a lot of character defects like I was talking about earlier, you know. If you're helping others, it takes away from selfishness. So it's one good way to get out of ourselves is to help others. And by doing random acts of kindness. And I think that's it. My longest outro in the world. Do you guys like the outro, or should I just get rid of the outro completely and just say, okay guys, love you, signing off. Let me know, or let me know what parts of it you like, and I'll continue to do it, or I will get rid of it entirely. So, or I can keep it if you guys like it. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Love ya. Bye. Love ya.